talking to Isaiah's father today. He's going to join us shortly. I just want to get a few people on. His son and his son's friend are both missing since March 13th. So we're going to discuss that and talk about ways that we can raise awareness and have you guys help out in New York City. So I'm just waiting for him to join. And when he does, we're going to do a split screen. I'm also recording the audio. Thank you. I'm also recording. What up, Manuel? Cool. I'm recording the audio so I can put it out as a podcast as well. I'm kind of disappointed that this story is not still being covered the way it should be. And not to get emotional or whatever, but I was actually crying last night. Like, we all have children in our family. And, you know, it really hits home. All right, I see Oscar joined. I'm about to bring him on in just a second. A couple of people here. And I have a 3-year-old nephew. Like, I can't imagine. And a 17-year-old nephew. You know, a couple of them. So, breaking my heart. So let me just bring him in real quick. What's up?
Hey, what's up?
Good morning. Everybody drop some ears if you can hear the both of us clearly, please. I gotta do that because I'm like in Instagram jail the last 4 days.
Yeah.
Thank you for talking to me, by the way.
This is the first time I do this. I've never been on this shit on live.
Really?
Yeah,
I'm sorry. I got you like out of your comfort zone. You even try to be like, you want to talk to his mom instead? So shout out to my fake studio. I'm in my living room. Popped up some sound stuff so I could stop yelling in my living room and bothering my landlady. I think everybody can hear us. So we have both been, you know, like when you posted it, I think I saw it through a friend and I started to repost it as well. And something made me check yesterday. And I was like, I wonder if these boys have been found. I haven't heard anything, which usually means that someone was found. And when I went to your page, I just started bawling because I was like, I cannot believe it. So for those that don't know what's going on, I'm going to take them through it with you. And you take your time. I just need you first, give them your full name, you know, tell them who your son is, because you're Isaiah's dad. Tell us a little bit about both the boys, Manny and Isaiah, and what took place on March 13th and what has been done since then.
My name is Oscar Moronta, and it happened March 13th, Friday the 13th. It happened on a Friday, March 13th. So, well, basically, I called him. I spoke to him that day. I called him at 3. I spoke to him in the morning when he got to school, make sure he got to school on time. Then I spoke to him at 3 after school.
Yeah.
I got to the area around his school around 3. And I spoke to him. I called him. I said, I'm about to pick you up. Where you at? And he told me, I'm going to go eat with my friends. So I told him, all right, that's perfect. I'm going to go get a haircut. And I'm going to go food shopping. Because everything that was going on, I wanted to go home early.
Right.
I said, meet me in front of my mom's building at 5 p.m. And I finished getting a haircut. I went food shopping. And I was actually in my mother's crib, in my mother's house. Mm-hmm. And I was actually showing her a video of me teaching him how to drive. Yeah. So that's when it was around 4:30. I got a phone call. I see his caller ID on my phone, and I told my mom, that's weird. He's calling me at this time. I told him to be here at 5. He's never early. Never early. I gotta chase him. I gotta call him.
Kids are always late.
So I'm like, that's weird. He probably wants some money. I told him. That's what I told my mother. I was like, he probably wants some money. So when I pick up that, I'm laughing. I'm about to say that. I'm about to say, how much money do you need? But I hear a man's voice. It was the detective. I mean, it was a cop. It was an officer.
Oh my God.
Asking me where I was at. If I'm Isaiah's father. And I was like, yeah, I'm Isaiah's father. What happened? He asked me where was I at. I was like, why do you want to know where I'm at? And he said, oh, it has something to do. It's regarding your son. I was like, okay, so put him on the phone. And he said, I can't. But I'm thinking that the cop is just being difficult. You know, like
like when they get in trouble and they don't want to talk to you. Yeah. Come to the precinct. We don't want to talk to you on the phone.
So so they said that's exactly what they said. Come to the precinct. I'm like, no, put my son on the phone. That's my son, and you're calling me from his phone. Put him on the phone.
Right.
So he said, I can't. He kept saying, I can't. I said, what you mean you can't? So I'm thinking he's being difficult. So I'm getting disrespectful.
Of course.
With the officer, like, that's my son. That's his phone. Put him on the phone. So he's like, go to the precinct. I was like, what did he do? Like, he jumped in the river. So I'm thinking that he jumped in the river and he got in trouble for it.
Right.
I didn't think it was him. So then he said, I said, put him on the phone. Then I told him, put him on the phone, all right? Put him on the phone. And he said, I can't. We have a search party looking for him right now. So that's when I was like, where? He told me where, so I drove straight over there. He was like, don't come over here. Go to the precinct. I drove straight over there. I went over there. I saw the search party. There was a boat, helicopter, divers. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so, that's what happened.
I could imagine how you felt when you got that phone call, because first, any New Yorker, just to go on that topic, any New Yorker that gets a phone call from a cop is like, what the fuck do you want, basically? Like we automatically get disrespectful because we're like, just tell us what you want. I don't believe in the whole, let me just ask you a few questions and don't worry, you'll get to go right home thing, because when I was like 16, I got arrested for going to talk to somebody and answer some questions. Somebody else's fault. But anyway, that's the right response to have, because you're like, you called me from his phone. So unless you did something to him or he did something to get in trouble, I don't understand why you're calling. He could have told you immediately instead of giving you like a heart attack, basically. And then to not let you go to the search place.
I guess he didn't know. I guess he didn't know how to break it
like
down.
How to deliver the news.
He's a human being,
But he could have been a little more like,
That's difficult for anybody.
Yeah.
No, but
I see both sides.
Actually rushing him through it. Like I didn't let him speak. So I just.
But that's a natural response.
Too, so it's both sides.
You're a parent. Yeah. That's a natural response.
Both sides.
So the thing is, so then, okay, he doesn't let you go to the scene because obviously it could be something traumatizing. I understand they're trying to protect you, and they're like, just go to the precinct.
Nobody stopped me. Nobody stopped me from going to the scene. He just told he
said like you shouldn't. Okay.
But I went straight to where I am.
So you went straight over there. You saw these boats. Were the other kids there still, or did their parents come? The other children that were there, they were like a group of kids, right?
I was the first one. Yeah, there was a group of kids. There was 6 of them, 6 kids, including Manny and Isaiah.
Right. So the other 4 kids that stood there, they were still there, like looking. And
yeah, they're the one that called
the police.
The police. Yeah, they I mean, I don't blame them for looking. There would have been more. It would have been more.
No, I'm not saying that. I was just wondering, like, were they there? Were they all right? How were they feeling?
Yeah, that was there. Yeah, that was a little place that my son would he's a teen. He just turned 13. He just turned 13. He was a teenager, so he used to go to that little spot. It was called they used to call it the little beach, and he always. There was some girls there. There was a couple of girls there, and they had just met them, from my understanding.
Yeah.
They just had met them. That was from another school, I think. And
kids being kids.
So I think the girl had spoke to him the day before, and they planned it. Well, she said she spoke to his mother, and this is what the mother told me. She said that they was planning to go to McDonald's.
Right.
Since that was my son's little secret spot, he was like, "I'm tired of going to McDonald's. Let's go. I got a spot where we could go to."
No.
And that's what happened. He was always going there,
It's like a happy place.
I didn't have no idea. Yeah. I didn't have no idea because I was like a jealous insecure boyfriend with him. Like everywhere he would pop, everywhere he said he was at,
yeah,
I would pop up. I'll do pop ups.
You make sure that he's
all the time, but he never. He was always where he said he was. So I never thought nothing of it. He never smelled like no water. He wouldn't do it when he comes to my house. My mother and his mother said that they would see like wet clothes sometimes from the summer. But I'm thinking it's like a water gun fight or whatever. He never came to my house like that, So he knew when to do it and how to do it. He's slick.
We're gonna work this out. So just because now I'm screen recording again, so we walked through it. You spoke to him. He said he was going to meet you. He went to go hang out with his friends after school. And then you got the call from the police officer who told you, sir, I need you to come down here so we can speak to you because he's basically missing. Now, at that point, you see all the search party. You see the other children. How much time did it take before they determined that everybody should go home and let them just continue looking and kind of like, because they always do that. They always say.
No, they never did that. Everybody stayed there. Everybody was there till late. Everybody came out. I slept in the park for 2 days. I didn't leave the park. I slept there. I didn't. They didn't restrict anybody from going over there or anything like that. They didn't tell anybody to leave or nothing like that. People was just there waiting.
Do you feel like they did everything they could for as long as they could before recently? Because you know how sometimes they say it's a cold case and they stop and they don't put enough efforts. And it's okay to speak how you feel. Like, I'm not the actual media like New
I
York
know.
Post or something. I'm an independent
They
person
actually,
like you.
yeah, they know. It's obvious they haven't put in the full effort. They haven't gone like full throttle with the search. They haven't. It's obvious. Like Kennedy Kennedy's I read Kennedy's one of Kennedy's family, an 8-year-old, and his mother went missing. They was canoeing, and I guess they went missing in the water. They found them 4 days later.
I saw
4
that
days
post.
later, because the search was actually specifically for them. They're not really searching for my son.
They're searching
Manny.
in general.
They're just searching. They're just like sending a boat out there, going up and down. There's too much water to cover to just send one boat. They're sending one boat. And if a civilian sees a body that pops up in the water, that's what they're waiting for.
That doesn't make any sense.
They're waiting for nature to take its course. They're not really out there. Because even when I'm in the water, I don't see them. I searched for them.
I know you went on jet skis, right?
On a jet ski and a boat, and I don't see them. There was one time actually we was on a boat and we passed by right where the incident happened, and I saw a lot of police, firefighters, a whole bunch of police and firefighters at the scene. So I'm like, man, what the hell happened? So then I see somebody, I was like, they probably saw something. So I see somebody with a phone and they say, yeah, we saw something right there. It was like a little something floating in the water. It was garbage. So we got there before the officers did.
Do you feel that both of these boys, obviously if they went in the water, they know how to swim, but I'm not aware
Manny did not know how to swim.
They just stood closer to the shore line, like they would never go far.
My son apparently, because a lot of videos surfaced after that. I received a lot of videos where my son is talking about, he's on that little beach area. He's like, yeah, I jumped from that bridge. I've been jumping from that bridge. So he's a great swimmer. He's been swimming since 5 years old. Like he's always 4 or 5. If I'm not mistaken, 4 I think. He's always been a swimmer. He's a great swimmer. But Manny didn't know how to swim.
Oh, that's right. Didn't he want to save him?
I spoke to his mother, and she was actually surprised that he did that. Look.
Let's walk the people who are listening through it, because I know, like me and you know, but the part that they don't know, people who might just be hearing it, because believe it or not, there are some people that don't know.
There's what happened. My son jumped in first.
Right.
Because it was a hot day. It was around 78.
It's a beautiful day.
Degrees, I think. It was at 82 degrees. I think it went up to. So it was real hot. I remember I was outside in a t-shirt. So since it was a hot day, he thought the temperature of the water would be warm.
Yeah.
But he didn't. It wasn't. And so he's a kid, so he's thinking since it's hot outside, the water's gonna be warm. Yeah. So he dove in first, and he got back. He swam back out. He was good, and he said, "I'm not jumping back in there because it's cold."
Right.
So the Manny said, I'm gonna jump in. And Isaiah said, I think Isaiah said, you can't, but you don't know how to swim. Somebody said that. And he said, yeah, I do. So he took it like offensive because there was other girls there. Girls there. So he took off his clothes and jumped in. And immediately, started panicking and he was going under. He was drowning. The current was taking him. It was taking him under the bridge to the other side. So that's when my son dove in to save him.
Right.
And they haven't been found since.
So right now, it has been about 5 weeks. And in the beginning, they did their basic search or whatever. And I know that you've been posting a lot, like contact the politicians, contact the local precinct, contact even maybe City Hall. What can we do? What can the people listening right now do for you? What is the most helpful thing that you want us to do in this situation?
Listen, right now,
like who have you been able to speak to in terms of like these political and government agencies?
I spoke to Idani Rodriguez. He's a politician. He's a councilman from uptown from Washington Heights. I spoke to him. I speak to the officers all the time, but they don't really have any answers for me. They just they don't tell me anything. They don't tell me anything concrete. They just say that they send the Coast Guard, that they don't know what, they don't know. They don't tell me anything specific. They just say, "Oh, that's the Coast Guard's job." All right, but you're the detective in charge. You should have an update and specific answers on where did they search through,
Yeah,
how long
a
they search
report of
for,
their
at what
search.
time they can, every update me on specifically on everything that's going on, and none of that happens.
Do you have an attorney, like, to
Yeah, I have
help
an
you
attorney. Yeah, I
with
have an
that?
attorney.
Because you can, I
Yeah.
think, it's like subpoena the records of the search. Because I feel, and not to interrupt you, but this is very important. I feel like minorities don't get as much coverage. Just to be clear, just to be blunt, as much coverage when it comes to something that's an emergency. Like, I got groped in 2009. I called the precinct. They were like, sorry, we can't help you. You have to call 911. I'm like, I'm already on the phone with you. This guy grabbed me.
Yeah.
He looks like this. They don't give a shit. 3 days later on the news, you already know. Upper East Side, 5 women complaining about some guy grabbing them and nothing happened, but now there's a whole story about it, right? A lot of things go unnoticed when it comes to minorities, and it just hurts. It hurts because there's so many of us that we're actually majority, and they don't give a fuck, to be completely blunt. So, like, right now, you have these 2 boys that could have probably been found sooner. In my heart, I feel like they're somewhere, but they have no phones. That's how I feel. That's how I want to,
No,
you know.
Yeah, I got, because they dove in, my son took off, since he dove first, he took off everything already. He took off. Yeah. And then Manny took off everything. So all they have on is underwears, and I don't even know, underwears, that's it.
Right.
My son just had green underwears on. So he took off everything because he dove in first. Then he dove back in to save Manny, you know.
Yeah.
So I have his phone. I have all his belongings. I have all of that, you know. Recently, I just got back I bought him this in Brazil to protect
That's beautiful.
him. I just bought him that in February.
Rosario.
And I just got it. I got it back the weekend it happened. One of his friends gave it back to me.
We don't want to think the worst, obviously. Nobody does, but there's a realistic side of it that nobody wants to talk about, because obviously, yes, there's a possibility that something could have happened, but we need to keep trying. And so as a whole, as New York, like, everybody, there's 233 people is going up, 237 people listening to me and you talk about this right now. So I want everyone to take that flyer and show your family and friends, print it, put it in your building, go out and help search, talk to people.
Even if it's worst case scenario, we still gotta find it.
Exactly. You gotta keep going until you can't anymore.
It don't matter. Either way, we have to find it. So it's been.
Can somebody just joined and asked where was the exact location again? Like, it's
of the incident.
Yeah, the exact location.
Yeah, by the little Amtrak bridge they jump from.
That's like Washington Heights, like up there.
Yeah, the Washington Heights. It's called Sputting Devil, something like that. It's called Spitting Devil, something like that. It's by the Amtrak bridge. They jump from the Amtrak. It's a small little bridge. It's not a bridge like. I see a lot of comments. Like, oh, did they commit suicide? Jump from the bridge?
No,
it's not a high bridge.
It's
an Amtrak bridge. It's a very low. It's a low bridge. Like, my son jumped from it all the time. Apparently, I wasn't surprised when the police told me what happened. I wasn't surprised. Nobody that knows him was surprised. He's always doing stuff like that. You know, crazy stuff like that. Since every time he's with me, he's just that kid that you always scream like, Isaiah, what you doing? He's just always a little daredevil. He's always doing stuff like that. But he was equipped for that. He was a strong kid. He knew how to swim. It's crazy. I told him a long time ago. Actually, it was my girl that told him. She said, no, you well, he already knew how to swim, but we already told him that'll be a crazy way if you don't know how to swim, that'll be a crazy way for you to die. Just somebody just pushing you off or something. I always told him that. So you gotta be prepared for everything, every aspect in life. You gotta learn how to defend yourself in every aspect.
Absolutely.
I put him in boxing. I told him how to swim, everything. So he just knew how to protect himself in any occasion. So he was a great swimmer, but what can I say?
I understand. I just want to say something real quick because there's a lot of comments moving very quickly, so I can't answer them. I'm trying to let you speak. I'm also trying to pay attention to what they're saying and what they're asking. For those tuning in that are coming from your side, that didn't come from my side, like, just so they understand what's happening right now, I brought you on to interview you. So I have to ask you questions and then you're answering. So everybody could be on the same page, because someone said, don't interrupt him, let him speak. I'm asking him questions so you guys could know what's going on. I'm sure he's okay with that because there's a whole reason for this. So you guys just chill. We're all adults. I don't want any negative comments about what the boys were doing and they shouldn't have done this and that. So I'm not gonna highlight any of that. Anybody that has questions, you can DM him directly. You can DM me. I'll pass it on to him. It's moving very quickly. So since this is the first time that he's used Instagram Live, he might not see it right away. And I just want you to understand that and be patient with this. There's a lot going on. So back to this conversation. You're a fantastic father. And your family is, I don't know you personally, but from what I see that's going on, like, my hands are shaking right now while I'm listening to you tell this story. Like, I want the best for this situation. And that's why I was like, you know what? I'm going to reach out to you and bring you on so we can discuss it, see what it is that any of us can do. You posted the number to Cuomo and everything else. Fuck it. As soon as this Instagram Live is over, all of us send those emails, like you said, with the subject, because they can't ignore it.
I've been emailing every day, every single day. Every morning, then I do it again in the afternoon. Every single day, Ruben Diaz, Sean King. It's so many people. I can't even. It's so many people that work at the Governor Cuomo's office. Mm-hmm. Everybody that you could think of, I've been emailing every single day. Emails, flyers we put up. We put up flyers. We dammed in the water on our own. No matter what the weather was, it was cold as hell. I bought a whole wetsuit. It was cold as hell. It was getting in the water. People, and this at the same time that the pandemic is going on, so people are getting sick, and it's just I don't know what else to do. It's everything. I've hit every corner. I don't know what else to do, so I'm just gonna keep. Now they shut down the marinas.
I saw that.
So we can't even get in the water. So now all we're doing is like harassing people. Basically, I would be knocking in offices and doors if people was there, but nobody's working in offices. People are home, because of the pandemic.
If they're not there, how are they even helping right now? Because they're doing social distancing, but at the same time,
I'm talking about like radio stations, stuff like that. I'll be knocking down their door. I'll be knocking down.
Radio stations are there. DJ Abrupt is a friend of mine that works at La Mega. There's a couple of people I'm gonna try to see. Like I see them going in Monday through Friday because I guess they're doing their sets.
They did something in the morning. One time.
I'm gonna make a list of all the emails that you have. I'll pass it on.
There's something that shouldn't be a one-time thing until they're found. It should be an everyday thing. They should cover this story like they covered Sarah Fox years ago. She went missing. She was a jogger in Inwood. She was jogging in Inwood. She went missing. It was a whole full throttle search every single day, and it got news coverage and everything. These are two children. These are two kids from our neighborhood, and from the same neighborhood where that happened.
Yeah. I'm gonna ask if you can send me later on a DM of every single email that you have, so that I can make a little email blast and send to all my DJ friends, all the hosts that I know. I'm gonna hit up. A lot of people are losing people right now because of what's going on, so it's like it's a little difficult. But I'm gonna try to reach out to the people I know that have some leverage. I'm not all that or whatever, but I have a platform. That's why I was like, what? I have enough people that will pay attention to what I'm saying, and then I could pass it on to the people who are even more up there than myself. But all these DJs and all these radio hosts like DJ Enough, DJ Abrupt, it's just I don't know. The more people that know, the more people that talk about it relentlessly. I hope that something changes because this is super sad. I don't mean to drag it and make you even more emotional than you probably are. I'm so sorry, but it's something that we had to discuss.
No, I gotta do what I gotta do. I can't get emotional. I gotta do what I gotta do. I'm on a mission. I gotta do what I gotta do.
Compartmentalize.
Until I find them. I'm not getting emotional. I'm actually numb. I'm numb. I'm numb right now because there's no closure. So I can't even grieve. I can't even grieve or anything because I'm just focused on the task at hand to find them. That's it. That's my, actually I've been doing everything I can to not deal with it. So I stay busy, trying to find them. Yeah. So that's what I'm doing right now. So I'm not getting emotional or anything like that,
Oscar, they're asking if we've put enough effort into New Jersey as well as New York.
Actually, we would dock from Jersey, the jet skis.
Yeah.
We would dock from Jersey, and when we spoke to the officers over there, they didn't even know what was going on. They was asking us why we were there, and we told them. They didn't know that the kids were missing.
Because it's not their jurisdiction, but they should know, because it should be a tri-state search. It should be a tri-state search.
Because it's possible that the current pushed them to Jersey, so they should be contacting all the hospitals, all the officers, all the authorities, and state troopers, everything. They should be contacting everybody. But that's what would happen if they really was paying attention.
Right.
If they was really paying attention to this case, that's what they would be doing. It wouldn't be us. How I'm talking to officers, explaining to them what's going on, and they don't know. It's crazy. It's just it's frustrating. It's frustrating because every day you got to deal with it. Every day I wake up is emails, is dealing with this. It's just as soon as I wake up, you got to deal with it. So and the parents can't have closure. His mother is being strong, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, she's praying a lot. She's praying a lot. Everybody, we all pray at 4 o'clock because that's the time it happened. Because we know that through the video that came out on Snap, it was at 4. They snapped when my son on Snapchat. They caught it on Snapchat where he dove in to save men.
People are asking a couple of questions here, and I feel like the answer is you have done all these things. Obviously, you've done what you could. Because they're saying Harbor Patrol, the hospitals and stuff like that in both New York and New Jersey.
I've done them.
But
I've done everything that you could possibly do, and it's not getting out there. It's not getting out. Trust me. Everybody says, "Oh, I get a lot of DMs where you should do this, you should do that," and that's cool. That's just people looking out, telling me, giving their suggestions on what they. But I've literally done.
I believe that you have
everything that they could possibly do.
I feel like I didn't even see an Amber Alert about this. I learned it from social media. I don't remember seeing an Amber Alert. You know how like the phone will go off?
I didn't see no Amber.
That's crazy. There should be, and that's why I was like, I'm gonna contact you.
Yeah, I didn't get no Amber Alert. I feel like that night, like I said, I slept in the park for 2 days. That night, it was like they stopped searching. Then they started again early in the morning, but it's like these are 2 kids that are missing. If it was a murder case, if it was a murder case and those bodies in the water, they'll be searching for those bodies because they get stripes. They get promoted off that. You know, so they would if it was somebody that got murdered, they would be in there. They would be in there searching high and low every day, day and night. Because I understand there's no they got officers that work the night shift. They could have been searching too. I mean, or Harbor Patrol, whoever, harbor divers, they should have had everybody out there. They got machines. They got access to machines that I don't have access to. Sonar machines.
Right, different types of scanners.
Yeah. So they should be using what they have. I can't get to that. I can't get a sonar machine. None of that. You know. I've emailed other independent people that work independent that search for bodies in the water that have a boat and have sonar machines, and they're not coming out. I emailed about 5 different people, and they're not coming out. 5 different independent companies, they're not coming out due to the pandemic. So it's just like basically like
that's an essential job. People can't turn that down.
No, those are independent people. So
no, I mean, like this is
they work on their schedule. But just like that's another thing I was gonna get to. Just like the officers expect the essential workers to go out and work every day. They have to. That's their job.
Yeah,
that's their job, and they have to find these kids. They gotta find them. They can't just turn away and be like, no, due to a pandemic, we can't search as hard as we would have if we weren't going through this crisis. But
doesn't make any sense. That makes it worse.
That doesn't make no sense. Just like we have essential workers. Those are essential workers right now. We need to find them boys. So
absolutely.
It doesn't make sense, huh?
Do you know someone named Clark Peña from like Spanish Harlem? He was in politics at some point. I know him personally from some years ago. My friend was a similar thing where something went unsolved. My friend was murdered back in 2010. Still nothing. They followed him from a bar, stabbed him, left him in the street. Somebody else robbed him. Still nothing. And Clark Peña was somebody that was running for office back then. I'm going to reach out to him. I'm going to reach out to as many people as I can on my side. Like, again, anybody who's like a TV personality or a media personality that I know. There's people in here. Everybody said after I mentioned that there was no Amber Alert that I saw, everyone agreed that they didn't get an Amber Alert at all.
Nobody got an Amber Alert.
And they're in Florida, Georgia, and all these other places. They want to know how are the parents of the other children, if you're communicating with them, Manny's parents, the other children's parents, how they're doing?
My son's mother speaks to them more. I spoke to the father a couple times. Last time I spoke to him, they found the body in Harlem, and he contacted me to let me know he went over there, but it wasn't any of the boys. I haven't spoken to. I spoke to the mother maybe one time. I don't know. I don't want to really contact.
I understand.
Because I don't know how people more different. People going through it go through it different. So I don't want to bother anybody.
Yeah, of course.
She's a mother. She's a mother at the end of the day.
Somebody said.
Yeah, I guess they're holding up. They should be strong.
Yeah, somebody said, and I know the answer to this question, but I have to ask you because I'm being polite here. But they said, have you filed a missing children's report? Obviously, if the cops know that he's not around, he's technically missing, and that is the missing thing.
We put it in the database. We put it in the database ourselves. Missing persons. We done all that. Everything. We did it ourselves. We did that ourselves. My brother did it. My brother did that actually.
This is the one time I wish I did work in the precinct, and because wherever I work, I always tell everybody what to do, and they listen and shit. So it's like I would never work in the precinct, but I know somebody who I went to school with, who's in corrections. I'm gonna try to ask her if she has any information about like how this could be escalated if it was a personal matter, because we both know when there's blue on blue situations, everything's handled so much quicker, right?
Yeah, if that was an officer's kid, God forbid, because I wouldn't wish this on nobody.
Right.
But God forbid if it was an officer's kid or the Harbor Patrol police kid, anybody, they'll be searching, so they would have been found.
Yeah.
They would have been found them.
I agree.
They put that. That's crazy when civilians is going out there. We have no training. We going out there ourselves,
risking your life.
Is crazy. Yeah,
I feel like there needs to be. Oh, frozen.
No parent want to see that. No.
You're there. For a second, it froze.
Yeah. No parent want to see their kid in that, in that state. And right. We was forced to be out there searching. But it is what it is. The main goal was to find them. And even if we find Isaiah, I'm gonna keep searching for Manny. I'm gonna keep
as
searching
you should.
For Manny.
There should be a law. You know how there's always a law when something happens. So if everybody fights, maybe they'll inflict a law where they need to do things differently for this type of thing. Maybe they'll invent some protocol and put it in place for other children so this doesn't happen again to anybody else. But that's a lot of fighting.
We're in 2020. This
shouldn't be happening. They have eyes on everything else when kids are not doing anything wrong and they're like, oh, what are you doing in the park? Do you have ID? But they don't have eyes on this fucking bridge. Excuse my language. It's like it drives me insane right now. It's crazy.
Yeah, apparently my son that was his little spot, a little beach spot. I was like, damn, I got mad videos after it happened of him going through the park, videos of him going through the park, through the little trail, him being at the little beach. I'm like, this little nigga was like the real Tarzan behind my back. I had no idea what he was doing this whole time. It's like
yeah.
I didn't have no idea. He was always playing ball. When I saw him, he was always playing ball. He was with girls around the neighborhood. He was that kid that was always around the neighborhood because when I'll pick him up from school, I'll pick him up later.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be busy, so I'll pick him up later, and he would just walk around, eat, go to my mother's house, and I'll pick him up from there after school. So he was always around. Everybody knew him around that neighborhood. People seen him all the time.
He sounds like a good kid. I mean, from just what I saw on your page and his mother's page, like I looked around or whatever, I feel connected to him. Like I feel like he's a good person, a good human being in general. And I feel like you raised him very well, and he looks like he's very smart. So like if he did surface on land and he was lost and didn't know how to communicate or whatever, like he would find his way. But it takes a long time depending on where where you went to, I feel like he's a surviving type of kid.
I'm not even
and protecting Manny.
Yeah, he is. He's a tough kid. He's a tough kid. He's not your ordinary kid because we're young parents, so he was always around us. He's always around me and my friends. He carried himself a little older, and he was real tough. I had him always working out. He played every damn sport you could think of. And I'm not even surprised he went in there to save him. I knew that anybody that knows him is not surprised. That was his character. He was always saving somebody or helping somebody. He just had it in him. He was always just like that, you know. And that should, you know, that should change I'm hoping that changes the narrative of how kids are nowadays. Nowadays, when something's happening to somebody, people take out their phone. Their first instinctive reaction is to take out their phone and record. There was adults there when my son dove in and they were struggling when the current was pushing them. There was adults there and they recorded. They didn't do anything. Now in these times, in this generation, your first instinct is to record, and that's crazy. That should not happen. That should change. People should go out and try to help people. He was always raised with me where I'm old school, so he didn't have that mentality. He always thought to help somebody. He would never take out his phone and record. He was just a different type of kid, you know.
That's facts. We're coming up on 39 minutes, and Instagram tends to hate on me and try to delete shit. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to end it and go back on again so everybody can rejoin just in case. But just to recap, for the people who just joined, because they're like, what's going on? I just got here. This is going to be saved and reposted so you can hear everything from top to finish because it's a lot of information. But basically, Washington Heights by the Amtrak bridge over there, you're saying? Somebody said because I can't say it either, the name of the area.
Spite
and Devil. Everyone's saying that we should go together and protest at the next Cuomo event, like everybody on foot. But you know what happens when you politely protest, so that's also a thing. So just strategically and respectfully, there's got to be a way that we can all come together on both sides of New Jersey and New York to make appearances until there are some answers or some more searching. Because put the pressure, put the foot on their neck. If they don't feel pressured, maybe they're just, taking their time with it, and that's the thing. But it's obviously also exhausting and frustrating for you. So the thing is, we'll all try to help you because you're one person. You are one man. You're one man, and I know it's frustrating, and I know you also need time to kind of like keep it together. So I want to help you. I'm gonna end the live, and I'm gonna save it. I'm gonna jump back on. We can keep on talking. It's up to you if you feel all right with that. So let me end it quick, and I'm gonna jump back on again just so it doesn't go anywhere. And I'll be right back.